Hello, everyone, and happy Friday unto you. We will get to Friday Release Valve here momentarily. If you're new to the program, Friday Release Valve is where we take off that heavy mantle of thought and introspection and reading that we wear for the common good 6 days of the week, and we simply investigate funny headlines as a big old cathartic burst we can get into before we get into our weekend. And I invite in a couple of comedian friends to kick those headlines around with me. Welcome back, Turner Sparks and Mike Kaplan of the Lost in America podcast and the, I always get this wrong, Comedy from a Bunker. What's your, you've got multiple shows now.
Well, first of all, it's Sir Michael Ira Kaplan.
Yeah, show me some respect around
Sir
here.
Micah Ira Kaplan. Side note, one of my favorite countries, Hut River, just shut down. Like, I got an email 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so I was a diplomat from this small 70-kilometer area, a place in Western Australia that broke off from Australia in the 70s and refused to pay taxes, which is part of the reason it shut down. But it was basically, there was this autonomous country, Western Australia, run by a guy named Prince Leonard that I went out and met, and he liked me. And he's like, "Oh, I'd like to cut you, Jim. You're going to be my envoy to New York." And so for a few years, I was his diplomat in New York. And then he died, and his son, Prince Graham, took over. And here, a fortnight ago, I got this email saying the principality shut down. So, and I was really hoping they'd knight me at some point, and it's not going to happen because they don't exist anymore.
You call you ambassador, though, right? Forever. You're an ambassador.
Well, but I wasn't an ambassador. I actually talked to them about this. To be an ambassador, you have to have mutual diplomatic relationship between the two countries, which is why I was an honorary envoy, because you can do that.
But you got diplomatic immunity, yeah?
If I were an ambassador, I would have had diplomatic immunity. And there was a brief golden period during the Trump administration where I thought, he's just one trade dispute away from recognizing this small country exists to piss off the whole country of Australia, because that would be a great move if you wanted to dick Australia around. Go, all right, you know what? We recognize Hut River. We're going to put an Air Force base in there. They can incorporate businesses, like that kind of stuff. And if that happened, bam, immediately, I've got diplomatic immunity. I'm throwing water balloons at people and parking my car on courthouse steps at a lobcocked angle. Sadly, it never happened. And
you can kill a guy.
Yeah, I can kill a guy. But I've had to be super responsible this whole time, and I don't know what I'm going to have to do. I guess
not Kaplan. He is a sir.
I'm a sir.
And he is much like Prince Charles. What's Prince Andrew? He's very similar to Prince Andrew in that sense.
The same way people call themselves a doctor, and you don't know are they really a medical doctor. Right. I'm a sir. Someone called me sir once. I'm a sir.
You don't know what kind of sir. He's
you don't know what kind of sir. I'm a sir. So I'm just
the show is called Live from the Bunker. It's our Patreon show.
Yes.
You are a patron of it.
And you don't even know the name.
You support us. And also, on Friday this week, I don't know when this is coming out, but on Friday, I might as well get our plugs out right away. We're doing our first ever call-in show for our Patreon subscribers only. So we're doing it on Zoom. This is a concept you can steal from us. Because we realized on Zoom, Kaplan and our dream is to host a drive time radio show.
Exactly. That's the dream.
Really,
I think you'd be great
because nobody's driving anywhere right now with no one's working. But
all we want to do is kick people off our airwaves. You know,
wave them away,
yell at callers, tell them. So now we figured out a way we can do it with our own Patreon subscribers by having them Zoom in. On Zoom, you can mute people, unmute people one at a time. We can kick people out of the Zoom. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, so you should call in, Zoom in, and then we can wave you away.
Well, what time is it?
Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern for Patreon subscribers only. Lost in America. That's patreon.com/Lost in America.
And 1 o'clock there in your fancy Los Angeles apartment. So
thank you very much. I'm actually really bad at globes, so I appreciate that. Like right now, the Heaton family's doing game night, and I was like, no problem. I'll be there at 8. And they're like, but we're in Oklahoma. And it's 8 o'clock now. And I was like, oh, damn it. The globe once again got me.
How did you get Heaton? Not to take over your podcast here.
No, it's fine. You're taking all the bricks out of the briefcase. Please, host.
How did you get from Oklahoma to the City of Angels? Did you drive or you fly?
I drove. Not only did I drive, I got these tent windows. Imagine a small tent that you extend around your car door. I got 2 of these, and when you roll the glass window down, there's a mesh screen. And so I just slept in my SUV for a couple of nights. Shout out to wherever the hell I was in Texas. I slept in some guy's field. He came up the following day. Yeah, he just like about 8:40 a.m., this guy kind of rocks up, and I pop up, and I'm like, oh, shit. And he comes up, and I'm like, hey, sorry, just slept in my SUV here in your field. I didn't want to go to a hotel because of the COVID and whatnot. And also, I didn't really want to bother with it. And he was very nice about it.
That's a great idea. It's also good to have the tinted windows so you don't get recognized by the peons, No,
that's true. Well, that's just, again, I have to clarify there. It's not that I have tinted windows. It's that I bought a tent that I can affix to my window.
Tinted windows.
This is like I basically have a screen mesh with a tiny 3-inch awning that I can put on either window, so that if I do sleep in the SUV and there's sufficient room for me to spread out, I can get a little bit of a cross breeze. Wasn't bad in Texas. It was actually pretty nice. Arizona, oh my God, horrible. And I kind of thought, yes, I'm aware it's August and it's Arizona, but I thought it being a desert, that in the whole thing about deserts, like the one redeeming quality about them
at nighttime, it's
it gets cold at night, and they couldn't even do that right. Arizona's had 300 years to replace their stupid desert with some friggin' trees, like a respectable state, and it's just a pile of nothing. It's just there's nothing there.
Did you pick up any hitchhikers or anything? It sounds like a real adventure.
I thought about it, but what with the COVID and whatnot,
COVID's bad for hitchhiking.
I don't want to say negative things about drifters, but I honestly kind of suspect that they might not have as good of a hygiene as I do.
You, Andrew Heaton, are pretty, like, you're the classiest drifter of all time.
Yeah, you seem like someone who would pick up a hitchhiker for just an hour or two.
I totally would have. There were several times where I was like I thought about. I did call the police at one point because I was driving through California, and I was coming down a hill, and I saw a guy walking up the road. And he looked like he was okay, but had become distraught over the last couple of days. And then I realized that he didn't have any shoes on. He was walking barefoot. And this isn't like some random, like maybe he's going to the store. I mean, this is way in the middle of nowhere. And it kind of took me a minute to process it. So I called 911 and was like, there's a barefoot dude. And then I looked in the rearview mirror, and he was like kind of talking to somebody. And I was like, I don't know whether this is dehydration or he's off his meds, but you should go send somebody to talk to him, make sure he's okay. And I assume I'm a hero.
And you kept driving.
The man in the tinted windows had to keep going. Can't move.
You can't have the tents on while you're driving. That
would be cool.
They'd pull apart. It wouldn't work for you at all.
It could get awkward. He's a listener of your podcast, and then all of a sudden you got to have a chat and all that kind of stuff. And
I wish I had. It's just that it didn't really click until I was already like 3.5 miles down the road, and then I was like, I'm going to call somebody. I thought about driving back, and then I was like, no, I'll just call. And
you did enough.
Okay, I'm going to petition down from hero to concerned citizen.
Yeah.
That's going to be my title that I'll take for today.
This is how I know this pandemic's been going on too long. Is Andrew Heaton, you're becoming too American. You just gauged distance in miles.
Yeah.
I've always done.
He did say
never
Fortnite
been on board
earlier,
kilometers.
though. So.
Yeah, you're a big kilometers guy.
Fortnite guy.
Fortnite 100%. Fortnite queuing. There are certain Britishisms I've picked up.
You take the lift.
I sometimes, if I'm drunk, and I would be on board for going with the metric system with everything but miles. I don't know what a kilometer looks like. It's very hard for me to process a kilometer. So I remain a devotee of miles.
I don't believe in them.
Kaplan doesn't understand how even Europeans understand
I don't understand how anybody knows how do you measure. Like, I measure it. 400 meters I know is a quarter of a mile. Like, that's how I measure it. So without the mile, how do you measure the metric system? I don't get it.
He thinks that.
I don't even know how far it is.
No, I like this. The metric system is ultimately based off of miles. I like this.
He thinks of it like, how like at a football game, the referees have the 10-yard kind of rope, the chain.
The chains, of course.
And then how do you know it's 10 yards if you don't already have the yards marked on the football field?
Exactly. That's well said.
Fair enough.
So that's why America runs the world.
Do you guys know how they came up with acres, where that comes from?
I have no idea what an acre is.
No, let me drop some. Okay, how do you not know what you're an American? You don't know what an acre is.
I mean,
this guy hasn't left Manhattan in 45 years.
People say they have like 50-acre property, and it's like, is that a backyard?
Is that like larger than Manhattan? It would blow your mind. When I had that courtyard in Manhattan, people were like, "Are you a duke?" Because I had 40 square feet that I could put a grill and a chair in, and that was like amazing. No, like an acre is a chunk of land. It's the acre's like the standard way of measuring land in America outside of these urban areas.
Talking to Kevin like he's a child.
And an acre, for anybody listening that knows what an acre is, where that comes from, an acre was meant to be the size of land that it took one man to till in one day. That was the original, and that's obviously changed because of all the the machinations that we now have in modern agriculture.
I mean, that would have to completely change now because men don't till.
We don't till.
Can you imagine Cap trying to till land?
He wouldn't know what to do. We'd be like, go till the back acre, and he'd get confused and go on the roof.
Is that
An
like
acre
you
would
move
be
dirt around? Like,
it would be a square foot.
with like one of those brooms they have that like
Take him one
flattens it.
day.
Yeah. There's
square
old Cap
foot.
wandering across the yard with a referee and a plow, trying to figure out what he's going to
My
do.
yardstick. It's a first down.
All right, gang. I feel warmed up. Let's get to some headlines, huh?
Let's get to the news.
All right. So first headline. Hookers for Jesus wins fresh round of funding from the Trump administration. Hookers for Jesus is a designated charity that takes sex workers and gets them out of that business and into other businesses and provides them with relief and that kind of thing. But there's a little bit of a flap because the Trump administration has given them like a few $100,000. I believe it's set to receive about $500,000 in federal funding as part of various trafficking grants and whatnot. Just two quick thoughts on this. One, this sounds like specifically the kind of organization Trump would donate money to, or rather, I should say, allocate money to out of the taxpayers. Hookers for Jesus sounds like the most Trumpian possible charity I can imagine.
It's got it all.
Also, I gotta say, I'd defund it. Nothing against hookers, but I looked into this, and they require all the ladies to go to church and stuff. And I'm like, sorry, in the Heat administration, you don't get any federal funding if you're mixing church and state, ladies.
Yeah.
Well, they were originally called Hookers for Satan. And that didn't get them a lot of money.
No. Hookers for...
Even Trump wouldn't fund that. He went, that's, it's a little too risque.
Sex workers for Baphomet. No, it didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, we're going to stick with the hookers, but we'll put in Jesus. Yeah.
But Trump understands what it does. Like, he's for making hookers not hookers anymore. Like
honestly, I don't know.
They explain it to him. They run it through.
So it's
because as a business person, you're making more money as a hooker than doing whatever. What jobs are they getting them now? Like
he wants America to get back to work, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know what? I got to say, hookers probably make more money than nuns, is my guess. If I had to guess, I would say, tax-wise, the nuns might pay more taxes. I don't know. You got to think from a tax-based perspective. I think a lot of that's off the books. But in Nevada, I bet you.
Hookers usually skirt the tax system.
Right. But in Nevada, hookers, it's legal, so prostitutes maybe they're
hurting hookers nowadays with the COVID and all. I mean,
I don't doubt that.
The social distancing and the masks and the...
I would think sex work would be difficult at this time, is my guess.
They're against kissing, I guess, so they have an advantage. They have a little edge there, but it's not a good business right now.
Are you basing that off of the film Pretty Woman, or is that actually a thing with sex workers?
Pretty Woman is the Bible for everything. It's very accurate.
It is a great documentary.
It's the Bible for everything, including Christians.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I don't know what God said to do about Persia. Let's watch Pretty Woman again.
It is literally the new Bible.
Yeah.
I think, listen, $500,000, this idea that $500,000, I know to like us, that's a lot of money, right? $500,000.
Yeah.
But to the government, didn't they the Democrats just said, fine, we'll cut $1 trillion off of this new, funding round.
Stimulus.
And it wasn't even like back page news, no pun intended, It was hookers, I don't know. It was...
No, it was good, I got it. Okay. Because back page used to be the sex pages of the internet.
Back page press, yeah. It didn't do anything. So $500,000 is not much. Also, I disagree with you. I am for funding this. I mean, if you read into it, they're rescuing sex workers.
I'm all for that.
But
my problem is you can't give money to organization because it's built into their bylaws that you can't look at pornography. Yeah, which okay, that's fine, but you have to go to church as part of this group. And I'm like,
what about Alcoholics Anonymous? Does America fund that, or is that private?
No,
I don't think there might be some public funds, but I don't it's definitely a private organization.
But what if it was hookers for Moses or hookers for Muhammad or hookers for L. Ron Hubbard? Would that fly?
L. Ron Hubbard, no.
You know what? I'd be okay with it as long as they weren't required to be religious while in it, because then you're funding a religious organization. If you're in my mind, if you're funding proselytization, that's crossing the line.
Always a libertarian.
This guy.
Andrew Heaton.
This isn't libertarian. This is just straight up good jurisprudence. This is how people that understand the Constitution.
Libertarians are pro hookers for hookers.
Yeah, I got to say,
that's true.
The libertarian wouldn't be opposed to this on that ground. The libertarian would just be opposed to the government giving money to anybody under any circumstance. They'd be for why can't the private sector handle the hookers, the blah, 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 blah. No, I'm coming from a stodgy old attorney type perspective.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this one is sad. This is actually a sad story. Mississippi rejects state flag featuring giant mosquito. So Mississippi, I don't know if this was a court order or whether they had a referendum on this, but they're getting rid of their old Confederate flag where there was the stars and bars in it. And so Mississippi, the state, has been soliciting new flag ideas from its citizenry. They've got a panel, I think, of 9 judges that go through and are ranking them. And the mosquito flag made it to round 2. And I looked at this. It's picture a big old flag with it's a red background with a big giant white circle in the middle, ringed by stars, with just a giant big ass mosquito. And because, according to the law passed by the state, it does have to have the phrase "In God We Trust." There's "In God We Trust" at the bottom in font 2, like size 2 font. But the big takeaway is the mosquito. And the judges shot it down. It got to the second round, and they were like, "No." And I was like, "This is our Tony face moment."
I have a question. Was the mosquito driving the Dukes of Hazzard car? What was going on?
I think so.
I just find it amazing that they found something that people hate worse than the Confederate flag. And that's mosquitoes. Some people hate the Confederate flag. Everyone hates mosquitoes.
Yeah.
Who did they think was going to be happy with mosquitoes on the flag?
Yeah,
no, that's a good point.
You're going to go with an animal of some sort. You go with a state bird or something,
right.
Something lovable.
Yeah.
Or like an elk or a bear.
I don't know what the animal of Mississippi is.
If New York was the rat or something, it's not.
It would be amazing if theirs was the mosquito. If they really were the Mississippi mosquito was the state animal.
Kaplan, isn't the state the city flag of New York? Isn't it Pizza Rat going up some stairs?
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't they change that?
If they made it, maybe they could get people to get out and vote if they put this as a proposition on the ballot in November.
Absolutely.
And they made multiple choice, 5 things. You had to vote for one of them, or you can write it in, I guess. I don't know. What do you?
Can I offer a third option?
Yeah.
Go. Yeah.
What about the Redskins?
You know what? I kind of like this idea of Mississippi's always 15 years behind what's socially acceptable at the national level. So they get the hand-me-down mascots and flags from the other folks.
They're not using it up in Washington.
Yeah. So they'll take the Redskins and then they'll get rid of that and then it'll be the fighting transgendered or something like that and they'll have that and then I kind of know. I think that's a really good idea. And then for everybody else, be look, it's not that they're offensive. They're just recycling. We're just recycling these ideas and they will move on from them, but it's going to be a little bit long.
We literally can't think of anything else.
Yeah, what else can you do?
We thought of mosquitoes. You didn't like that. We thought of a Confederate flag. You didn't like that. Okay. This is all we have left. That's Redskins.
Right. It's better to be known. Mississippi's flag. Everyone knows it. You know all the Confederate flags. I don't know California's flag. Do you know what it looks like?
Yeah, it's a bear.
It's a bear. Oh. It's a golden bear. And people hate bears less than they hate mosquitoes.
That's true. And bears kill people.
My wife won't go sit outside because of mosquitoes. She's not scared of bears out there.
True. And mosquitoes have killed way more people than bears.
I guess you're right. Malaria.
Malaria's killed way more people than grizzly bears. Grizzly bears don't even they're doing no heavy lifting compared to
Step it up, grizzly bears.
I'll tell you what state should make the mosquito. It's Maine. The state of Maine. I was just there with the family. That's where I went. The mosquitoes come at you
oh no.
They're in the woods. They're just. I'm a city guy. If you don't know what acre is, if you don't know what an acre is, you don't know. They just attack you.
We figured this out. They don't come after. They come after Kaplan because he has foreign blood.
I have foreign blood, exactly. So that's why they should be proud of it. They should make it put on the state flag.
All the mosquitoes just smell kombucha. They smell they smell Starbucks lattes and things.
Yeah.
I walk by and they're boot leather and scotch. We're gonna pass on this guy. Kaplan on the other hand. Here's what I came up for alternatives to the Mississippi flag. I came up with 3 of them. First one, dragons having sex. It's still a little bit offensive, but I think way cooler and not broadly offensive. Just you'd have to have parents go well, they're wrestling, and then maybe it would also be a way to teach kids about sex. We're when 2 dragons love each other, they get into this particular position we call dragon style. Yeah.
Is it a boy and a girl dragon? Because it's going to be controversial if you're saying.
That's a good point.
Heteronormative.
You know what? I'm going to say dealer's choice.
Yeah.
Everybody can make their own. You can just pick the genders of the dragons that you want to put on the flag.
Another question on that one, not to push back, but isn't the Grand Dragon part of the
Ku Klux Klan.
Klan?
Good. Okay.
Which
all right.
might have a bit of a foothold in that part of the country.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, I got 2 backups though. All right,
Yeah,
ready?
Okay, good.
Okay, here's the next one. A flag with just a giant hole in the middle. It's a conceptual thing. I'm not making a statement. I just think it'd be interesting. Like you see, like all of a sudden there's a flag and you can see through the flag. There's a hole in it. That'd be cool. I don't think anybody's ever done that before.
Japan
Mississippi
flag.
could lead
It's
the
like a
charge.
bizarro Japanese flag. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a meta thing, right? It's like a minimalist flag because there's nothing in it.
All right,
I
this can't
like
be
it.
controversial. Can't be a problem.
It may seem like a bit of a cannon hole, though.
Which seems very Mississippi.
Like
Why
it
not
got
just
shot through.
Like hoist the old cannon hole over the state courthouse sounds like that absolutely sounds like something Mississippi would want to do.
Okay, I like that one. What's number
actually,
3?
Cannon hole flag is now the top contender.
Cannon hole flag.
The other one I had was just a blue flag that says "No longer Confederate" on it, and just like that, then you
north.
get to have the word Confederate in it, but also it's no longer Confederate. So I feel like there's common ground. But the cannon hole flag I think is a lot better.
Cannon hole's good. Your third option is very similar. Didn't the Washington Redskins, they changed their name to the Washington Football Team, right?
Did they do that? I haven't been paying attention at all. Are they
That's
not
their name
Redskins
for
anymore?
a year. It's like they're going to figure it out.
Oh, is it the Braves? No, who is it? It's the Washington D.C. team. That was
Washington, D.C. was the Redskins.
Okay, and they're
And now
just
they're no longer the Redskins. They're the Washington Football Team.
really.
So they could change their state flag to just like the state flag or something. Like how you were saying with the blue, just formerly this other one.
But who's their mascot now?
No, nothing.
They don't have one. They're working on they're going to do a year without one basically. No mascot. There
I
might
feel
not
like
be
they're
sports
doing
this
that.
year, so.
That seems like a dick move. I feel like they're intentionally punishing everybody. Of like, fine, we just won't have one. Are you happy?
Ding, ding, ding.
That's pretty much their beat. Yeah. So I mean, I would. You mentioned Dukes of Hazzard earlier. I feel, but that was Georgia, right? Because
I don't know.
I was going to say like a picture of Daisy Duke would be a good flag instead of the
Nice.
Confederate. Because
You know what? Basically, like a mud flap, except for the like a trucker mud flap, except for the
Yes.
state flag. I think Mississippi could really get on board with that.
Wait, did the Georgia flag used to have a Confederate flag on it too? Did everybody?
I feel like everyone did. South Carolina, Georgia, Mississippi.
Bunch of them did.
Which ones didn't? I guess is the better question.
I don't really know.
Alabama, maybe.
Heaton's country in the middle of Australia did.
Yeah, what's their flag? Do they have a flag?
Lot
It's a good.
Hunt River absolutely had a flag. So sad. There was also there was a town in like New York State. Have you ever heard? I think it's New York State that like this one town in New York State joined the Confederacy during the Civil War, which like I gotta say at that point,
there's all the blowhard
probably
stats.
racist is my interpretation of that one. If you're
No, it's about states' rights.
Yeah, but did they succeed from New York, like this one town?
No, I think the town was still New York. They were just pro-Confederate, and they were like flagged Confederate flags for a long time and stuff.
Was it Staten Island? Like we're
That would explain a lot. I don't understand why that's even like if you look at a map of New York, you're like, shouldn't that be a part of New Jersey? I don't get why that happened.
It was
Give
the
them Logan to New
Jersey
York.
Shore.
Yeah. A little bit further south in, I think this is in. Oh, it's somewhere in Central America. Hyundai showroom. Oh, there it is. Hyundai showroom in Brazil hires street dog as car salesman. Post goes viral. This is heartwarming. There was a street dog wandering around the street, and this car dealership scooped up the dog and made it an employee at their car dealership, and he now sits in a chair with a name tag on, and people come up, and this is where I got lost. I guess he sells cars. What I feel sad about this is, like, this sounds really good, but also selling cars has got to be very difficult as a dog. Like Lassie just had to pull that fat kid out of the well, but if you're selling dogs don't understand how financing works. They don't understand how to like
negotiate with
upsell mats and things.
Sounds like they're better at it than Brazilians.
yeah. I mean, you say heartwarming, but there's some poor kid in a favela somewhere who'd like a job, and we're giving it to this dog.
Some kid walked out of his house that day with a briefcase and a new
suit
haircut.
on.
He's like, "Don't worry, Mom. I'm going to come back and I'm going to bring us some money for our
I'm gonna
family."
sell cars.
And he comes in and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we already filled the thing." And he's like, "Oh, who got it?" They're like, "This dog. This dog got it." Yep.
Yeah.
Here you go.
The dog's got like one of those like the car dealer formal clothing wear on, which is like the dress shirt, the white dress shirt with the tie, but the dress shirt's short sleeved.
Yeah, it's a like salesman outfit, but
Like
it's like
a
kind of
garish Mormon.
Yeah.
I want to put you into a used 1996 Hyundai Sonata.
I mean,
What I love about this dog is his name was Tucson Prime.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a Hyundai model.
Yeah,
of a
agreed.
car.
isn't it? Is the Tucson is a car, right? Or no?
I don't know. It sounds like
Yeah,
that.
it's a town in Arizona, which again should plant more trees and figure out what it's
I
doing.
think
with
it
its
is
life.
a Hyundai. Yeah, that's a great name for a dog if you want to get it. You know, my dog's named Pancakes. And maybe I can get her to replace Aunt Jemima on the label because she's already built in.
She's up for
Or get
grabs
her
right now.
a job at IHOP. I don't know, but
Maybe you get free pancakes out of it. That's not a
maybe
bad
she
idea.
can start earning her keep around here.
Dude,
so I can,
Cap, try and get your dog to become the pancake mascot, and then after a year, hit up the Washington football team
Yes.
and be like, y'all need a mascot? Because we can already push pancakes. We could probably push baseball.
The Washington,
Football.
D.C. Pancakes Kaplan.
except I hate the Redskin football team so much that would break my heart. But yeah, that's a great idea. But yeah, this dog. Have you ever tried negotiating with a dog? It's very hard. Like every time I try to negotiate with Pancakes, my dog, to get her to do anything, she just looks at me and refuses, and I give in. So it makes sense because these salesmen aren't that great anymore. People figured out their tricks.
Yeah.
You know, so this is a smart move by this Brazilian dealership. They're gonna make more money this way.
No, I like this. So the guy just rolls up and he's like, hey, I'll give you 400 reals for that Sonata. And the dog just stares at him and he's like,
Yeah.
oh, drive
Puppy
me a
dog
hard
eyes.
bargain. All right,
Yeah.
800. Dog just staring at him and he's like, 1,000. And then he like walks away
Yeah.
with the keys. Yeah.
Dog pees on his leg. He's like, okay, I'll give you more. Yeah, genius.
George R.R. Martin said we could imprison him if Winds of Winter wasn't done today. Now, that was from a couple of weeks ago, but this time last year, George R.R. Martin, who wrote the Game of Thrones, it's the Song of Ice and Fire series, the first book's Game of Thrones, he, for years, has been working on the finale of it, and everybody keeps bugging him about it, and he went, all right, if I don't get it done by like Comic-Con New Zealand or whatever the event was, this time 2020, I give you my full permission to arrest me and lock me up in a room with a typewriter till you do it. Now,
Let's do it.
I'm going to say I'm not going to say that I've captured George R.R. Martin. I'm not going to say that I've locked him in a basement with a typewriter and about 40 jugs of Gatorade and some Cheese Whiz. I'm just saying if I did do that, I feel like I've got stronger ground right now than I did last week when I captured him.
Yes, I think I see. By the way, I see him poking his head out in the back of your closet.
That's
back
why it's
there.
such a close shot. We can't see.
So, no, I think he should be in prison. Let's put him in with what's the one up Sing Sing, throw him upriver, get him some coronavirus
yeah.
going, see if that helps him finish this book. I think he should be in prison just for making me hear about dragons for a decade.
Yeah, and everyone talks about Game of Thrones not constantly in my timeline and everything. I don't watch it. I thought George Martin was the Beatles producer we were talking about.
I was going to ask you if he was the guy is he the same guy?
I have no... Wait, is there a George Martin that's the Beatles
Isn't that his
producer?
name?
Yeah,
Did I
he's
make
like
that-
the fifth Beatle. He's known as the fifth Beatle, the guy who he
That is
co-wrote.
not the same guy. That's probably why George R.R. Martin puts the
Put
two
the
R's in
RR.
his name.
Yeah.
Just so
I mean,
people don't think he's the Beatles producer.
I literally thought it was the same dude.
Yeah, he's very successful.
I mean,
He's
if
been
that were
involved-
the case, he is truly a creative genius.
What a
if
life.
If he did that and then wrote that, yeah, I would be very impressed, yeah.
I just like this. This is the happiest story of the whole pandemic for me right here. Knowing that this guy, who has, by the way, hundreds of millions of dollars writing on the idea of finishing this book, even he couldn't write a novel during the pandemic.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Like, think about
Makes
everybody
things
out
much
there
better.
everyone out there who's going to write a screenplay or a novel or anything. It's okay.
You're off the hook now.
You're off the hook.
That's a very good point, because like occasionally I'll meet someone who's like, the coronavirus has been a great opportunity for me. I've learned guitar and I've learned German, and I'm like,
that guy.
I drank less wine today. That is my thing.
R.R. Martin couldn't even be like, and how hard are those to write? Oh, this dragon talks to that dragon. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty
I
much
say
paid my
hi,
numbers.
you say hello.
The winds of winter were blowing. They were blowing with my friends. It was a rough winter, a windy
Yeah,
winter.
Turner, you should ghostwrite it for him. Dragon A said, yeah, what's up, Dragon B? Do you want to have sex on the Mississippi flag? Sounds good to me.
I was about to say, let's go on a flag. And,
Well, and then when you get caught in a jam, you just have two cousins have sex with each other, and then the movie's right back going again. How hard
Man,
is
you
that?
figured out his algorithm, Turner.
And this guy couldn't even do that. So that means I'm not. No, these people. And then now, have you noticed the new thing is people go, oh, because everyone failed at their whole. By the way, we've had 5 to 6 months now. No one's done anything. So everyone's failed at this idea they were going to write a book or whatever they're going to do. myself included. Yeah. And now what we're doing is we go, well, winter. When winter comes, it's going to be a long winter.
That's why we're all excited that the pandemic's really secretly a lot of creative people are excited that it's still going. You said earlier it would be another 18 months. It's like, that's
great for me.
It's great. We're kind of hoping that because it gives us more time to actually write our opus.
Winter will be super good when not only are we on lockdown, we can't go outside anymore.
Exactly.
I'm sure people will be way more productive when they're literally trapped in their house.
And there'll be nothing to watch anymore because they're done making, there's nothing being filmed anymore. Eventually, you're going to have to stop watching it. So it'll be huge for us podcasters, really.
That's true.
They're going to turn. I mean, this podcast we're doing right now, 6 months from now, will be on NBC.
Let's hope so.
Because they will be all out of material. There'll be nothing left. Have you noticed now what they're doing is they're buying foreign shows? Have you noticed that? There's a lot of Australian shows popping up on Netflix.
A lot of Hut City shows.
And they're all like weird, slightly offensive dating shows that here we would be like, oh, no, you can't. Like there's one, it's called Dating on the Spectrum. And they literally have two people with Asperger's date each other. They make them date. And then they film it. And in America, we'd be like, what? No, we can't. That feels offensive. And over there, they're like, nah, see what happens, mate.
Have you? There's a British show that I don't really like reality television, but when I'm in Scotland, I watch this show. It's called It's called like Naked Dating or something like that. I don't remember how it works, but basically they have a contestant that comes out and there's this really very strongly casual host lady. And they've got 4 women in boxes. And the boxes slowly raise up. So you just see their feet and she walks around and she's like, hey, what do you think of the feet? Are you big on, are you a foot fetishist type person? And the guy's, no, I don't care about feet so much. And then it goes up to knees, same story. Then it goes up to genitals and she's like, now look at this. The labia really pops out here. Are you what do you think? Do you care? He's like, I'm more interested in postnatal, I guess. And then it goes up to breasts and they compare bust size. And then it goes up to the face, at which point it's so clear now that the body that you've been ogling is also attached to a really hot lady who's got a beautiful face. And then meanwhile, the other 3 are like, yeah, British. I saw that coming. And then
so it's who's a butterface you're trying to guess? I don't like the reveal.
And then he asks some questions and then like clockwork at the end of every episode, they'll go, all right, so which one of these 4 contestants do you want to go home with? And they go, I really felt strong emotional rapport with Janet, the model. We had the same favorite color. I'm going to go with her. Because the questions are all dumb. It's like, what's your favorite color? Do you like beaches? It's like you can't actually get to know anybody.
Do you like beaches?
Yeah, they just always pick the hot person.
Of course.
For the record, just so everybody doesn't think this is completely misogynist, they do switch genders and sexualities and things. So sometimes it'll be all dudes and you're watching swinging dongs.
Right.
Sometimes it'll be girls looking at guys.
The small one.
Huh?
Is it there's different, looking at guys, dongs, as you say?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Where she goes through and she's like, a lot of women think it's actually too much, this size. What do you think? And she, the host is the craziest part of the show because she talks the exact same way I would talk about pies at a school fair. Just to kind of bubbly and casual and she's completely unflappable. There's nothing that strikes her as weird about these naked women in boxes and naked men in boxes that are being slowly revealed from the feet to the genitals to the head before they go on a date. Amazing.
Point is, there's no reason to write a novel. Because there's so much good television.
Why watch a novel when you can watch dating Asperger's in Australia or naked British people?
Australians with Asperger's.
Nobody's reading ever again. We're going to be in a pandemic for 100 years. I'm going to read any books. So,
yeah,
there you go. Watch
Great
TV.
time to be alive.
Great time to be alive.
George Martin.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for coming back out of the show. It's always a pleasure. I think you guys would be great at a radio show. I really do. I think you guys would be excellent as a radio duo.
Let's do it. We'll go anywhere. If you're listening and you're saying, if you live in Dubuque, Iowa or Montana,
it doesn't even exist. That's how hardcore you are. You're willing to go to a fictional city.
If you want to invent a country somewhere,
where's Dubuque?
Hut City or whatever it's called, or
Dubuque, Mississippi.
And we'll do propaganda.
There.
We'll do propaganda if it's a country out there who needs a state media drive time show.
We don't mind
Allegiances. Yeah, we'll do drive time on
and
state TV.
If you're in Dubuque, Montana, we don't agree with your politics. We'll change our politics.
Of course, no principles. No principles whatsoever.
All we need is a place to stay. It could even be. We'll take one of those tent car things you have.
I'm going to put that in my agent's working on that every time I get a car from now on. I want a tent car.
I got to say it's cost effective because it's $40 per one one of those things. So $2, that's $80 versus how much I would have spent on hotels where I maybe would have caught COVID. It would have been like $80 for one hotel room, one night at a crappy hotel. 2 nights in my car with tent windows, $80. I just saved $40.
Yeah, and you almost hooked up with a Mississippi farmer or whatever he was.
Yeah, the guy was really cool. He was very nice. I think he thought I was a little bit more down and out than I was, but he was very kind.
That's exciting.
Anyway, that's us.
And one more time, where can people find you? Where can they find your
The
shenanigans?
Lost in America podcast on iTunes. Today we had on Misha Kalin. He's in Belarus. He's in Minsk. And he currently cannot leave his apartment because they are shooting people in the streets outside.
Yeah.
And is that
It's a
democracy
comedy
there
podcast.
or COVID there? I assume it's the dictator.
That is the dictator. The dictator won again on Wednesday or 3 days ago, and then immediately shut down the internet and then imprisoned his person who ran against him.
Nothing squeaky about that election. That sounds totally above board. That sounds very legit.
Sounds legit.
Yeah.
I mean,
LostInAmericaPod.com, also on iTunes, anywhere you get your podcast. Just give it a listen.
Great. Thanks, gang.
thank you.
Hello, Heaton here with a couple of quick announcements before you scamper off to your debaucherous weekend. First, due to popular request, I have updated the show store. If you go to mightyheaton.com/merch, you will find Snuffy's memorabilia, official political orphanage mugs and t-shirts, and not one, but 4 distinct and museum-worthy Heaton for Vice President Whig Party campaign buttons, which a bunch of you have asked about. I'll be adding more stuff in the future, including some awesome rogue Whig Party apparel, possibly pocket squares. Probably pocket squares. We're talking to some folks right now. That's all at mightyheaton.com/merch. Second, Leslie writes to me to ask, will I make her dog Nuggets a state elector for the rogue Whig Party? The answer is, of course, a resounding absolutely. I hereby decree that Nuggets is a rogue Whig Party elector. If you have a dog or raccoon which you feel has the integrity and shrewdness befitting an elector of the rejuvenated Whig Party, who, if I am elected vice president in 2020, you feel comfortable sending as a delegate to the Electoral College, tweet me a picture of your pet at Mighty Heaton, and I will add them to the official Whig Party roster for when we inevitably get investigated by the FBI. Gang, I'm going to be honest with you. Ballot access has been an uphill battle for us Whigs, but if we can't guarantee a landslide electoral victory in 2020, damn it, at least we can be the party with the highest percentage of dogs constituting our membership. Thank you. Until next time, I've been Andrew Heaton, and so have you.